All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Monday, November 30th, last day of the pay period, as Fausto would always say. Welcome on, folks, back here for our afternoon meeting. A bit of a tongue twister there to begin. Great to see everybody, though. Bill, Chuck, Cliff, Bonnie, Greg, great to see you all. Sounds good, at least from everybody inside our trading room. Perfect. And for all of us on social media, folks, welcome on back. Whew, a lot of talking today. In a good way, of course, right? There's a lot to talk about. And with that, we'll start with Riot here to begin. So Riot up 30% at the highs right now. So I will just mention very quickly, just given the trend, given how strong it looks heading into this afternoon here, we'll just start by putting this on our list. Now, my spiel on Riot going into the afternoons, it normally has not made a big pop for us heading into an afternoon session comparative to the run that it's made in the morning. Now, with that in mind, though, as Bitcoin keeps pushing up and up and up and breaking new all-time highs, today it finally just did, although it was pretty short-lived, ended up making a very quick pop and drop over that high. It's still very strong, and with Riot moving up with it today, it definitely makes sense to at least watch this heading into the close. As I'm opening up my Binance app right now, where I could look at Bitcoin go, live, it actually just made a bit of a shake the last minute, so we'll see what happens here coming up on Riot, and I mean shake down. So look to see what happens here. If this ends up following suit, just made a sharp little drop. We'll see if it picks back up at least. So for right now, Riot, I don't mind just keeping this on our list to begin, just given how strong it still looks near the highs. A bit of a drop off right now, a couple cents. Now, when Riot moves, we tend to see the same with Mara, right? They make very similar moves more often than not. I think there was one day over the last few weeks where we ended up seeing Riot make a 15% move and Mara was up like 70%. There was another day where we ended up seeing Mara make like a 23, 25% move and Riot wasn't up as much. But otherwise, these stocks move very similarly in terms of their trend up and down throughout the day. So with that, just go back and forth between the chart. Riot and Mara looks carbon copy to one another, right? Both popped as soon as the market opened up, little shake, and then they popped rather, but they both took off very nicely right around like 10:15 Eastern time. Both ended up sharply dropping off. So, we'll just put both of these on our list for right now. And again, I should say this, though, as much as I want to put these on our list, and I am, these stocks historically have not ran for us heading into the afternoon. So, if they end up shaking down from here, I'd rather focus on others if they do, but if they end up holding strong from where they are right now and push up to break higher, then I'll be really keen to try and jump in. Just because they haven't ran for us historically in the past, that's not going to hold me back from trying to take a trade on them. It shouldn't, at least. All right. With that, though, I see a few chats inside our room from Brian, and I saw from Kath just before, Kathleen, on CAAS. Yeah, this one's making a nice pop right now. Pop more so in pre-market trading. I'm going to get Benzinga and get the news up for this one at least. So as you can see, CAAS, we ended up following this into the market open for a stock that's up, 90+% or roughly 90%. You expect to see a bit of profit taking. So the news that came out on this, China Automotive System, that's the name of the company, keep in mind. So I think that's all that's needed to be said here. But nonetheless, the news out on CAAS, I just posted on social media and for all of us inside the trading room. So another EV stock, it seems like, making a big push. Well, it ended up pulling back as soon as the market opened today, but obviously now making that big push that we were hoping for earlier. So actually, you could see on the ask at 750, a 25,000 share order popping in and out. I also believe that could be where we have our opening print from today. You can see a big volume spike roughly around 750. This green tab here indicates the open price. So 750 is a critical level, I'd say, heading into the afternoon. Kathleen, I think, walked out with like 84, 87 cents, somewhere of that nature, maybe even more. I don't want to shortchange her, but she's been doing really well on this trade. Great call from Brian just before, too. So, yeah, CAAS definitely going to put on our watch list once again heading into the afternoon. I would assume for this to make a, not drop, but a shake down from that 750. All right. So what we'll do, I mean, it's not just Bitcoin moving, not just the EV sector that's, making some big moves of late, but obviously from Friday, we ended up seeing pot, and that will lead me to number 2 on our gainers list here, the SNDL. It's a cheapie, but we've been following this really for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and it was more so with the news out from Friday. the speculative report that soon enough, over the next maybe month or so, we will see federal regulation on marijuana. So I'll copy and paste that just later on after this meeting. But we ended up seeing that from Friday. Well, stocks like SNDL, stocks like, and you'll see as I go through, ACB, Tilray, Kronos, CGC, you name them. All of these pot stocks ended up making a big push. In fact, I'll just turn right over to the ETF, MJ. You could see at least after the open, those stocks had pulled back with the sector, but they ended up making a beautiful bounce, ended up pushing up to break new highs going into the afternoon. So, it's been a very interesting day with those, moving up. ACB, like we just said, there's that pushing up very nicely. So going back to SNDL, just number 2 on the gainers list, for this stock to make like a 40-cent move, 100% jump up from low to high essentially today, I don't know how much more room this stock will have for the final hour of today. Maybe in the after hours as a swing trade going into tomorrow and forward. I'm sure we'll see a lot more action on this stock. So definitely keep this one in mind. I just think that trading 1.7, is that right? Holy smokes. This might be the most heavily traded stock I've ever seen in the 6+ years I've been with Fausto and CTU. 1.7 billion. That's insane. I've only seen a stock crack over the billion count maybe a couple times. And this is 1.7. This will top over 2 by the end of the day. JAGX trading 106 million, not billion there, but ended up making a big push from earlier. It made a bit of a drop just before. I guess over the years we've seen the stock split. That would be my assumption, just looking at this daily chart. But nonetheless, maybe I'll come back to this at the end. And I don't know what the news is on this. Just we're going to keep going though for the meantime. SPCB. This was one that we were more interested in watching leading into the market open, but we'll talk about this more perhaps tomorrow inside our Traders Talk workshop. For all of us on social media, just join us tomorrow inside our room. That's where we do our weekly workshop, Traders Talk. But for a stock that pumped up in pre-market early, started dumping off by 8:30, you expect to see this. So hasn't really made a great move for us so far today. Maybe to keep it in mind for tomorrow or Wednesday perhaps. Mara pushing up higher right now. So the one stock I'm in right now, Mara. I was long on this trade from this morning. I should have held on to my shares the whole way through, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's not what we really look to do here, but it's easy to say that in hindsight. But nonetheless, right now I'm currently in Mara. I'm in from 6 basically. I actually took a small loss beforehand. I jumped in on 2,000 shares, so I was in over 6. It was chopping around a bit. And actually, right before I started the meeting, I scaled out. I took 1,000 shares off to say, all right, well, we'll see where it goes going into the meeting. And then I reset up a new stop limit order to buy right over 6. So the second I heard order filled, you knew what was happening. So, Mara here ended up making the pop. I was watching this on a separate screen, so finally I have the chance to show. But, making the same type of move, hopefully, as Riot would, right? Riot making a push right now. So actually, I'll check back in on Bitcoin, my Binance app, perhaps. We'll see what happened over the last minute. Oh, pretty interesting. Looks like Bitcoin's still slumping off ever so slightly. It's not really making too big of a shake lower, but hasn't really popped back up as to where these are. So goes to show how strong Riot and Mara are currently, even without Bitcoin making a big push up here. So pretty interesting. Mara, I'm definitely going to just set my stop here on my other screen. Just doing pretty good, but I'll just at least ensure that I walk out some profit here in case if this keeps going, or in case if it drops rather. All right, so not to be confused with ACB, but you had an AQB here, Aqua Bounty Tech. I don't know. Ended up making a nice run upon the market open, really. I mean, I'll keep this in mind going forward for this week myself. Just ended up dying off roughly around like 11:15, 11:30 Eastern time, hit high of the day, 644, pulled back. So, keep this in mind. Just we normally haven't seen the stock trade really. So, dying off here. There's that pop on Riot. Yala, Y-A-L-A. Bit light on the book. Nice move though from today. So we'll see if there's better in terms of liquidity. I want to jump actually, and it's not to say this is really much better. This is probably worse than liquidity, but I want to take a look to see where Veri is right now. VERI, man, this stock out of nowhere. I looked on Benzinga earlier, didn't have any news on this stock. It's still up 29%, and you'd figure looking at the daily chart that this has to be all-time highs. It's not. ended up making a big push back in like 2018, 2017 here. It's like 65, 70 bucks. But nonetheless, this was like a crazy pump and dump you could see at this point, right? Easy to say that now, but for as much as this ran up, looking at the spread, the liquidity or lack thereof here, you would only imagine what happens if you get in at the wrong place, the wrong time, or the right place at the wrong time, and it just never makes that move back up. Well, this is what happens. So this stock was shortable. It still is right now. It already crapped out, right? So it already made that move down, like I'd said. But, maybe to keep it in mind, just big spread. So again, we'll see if there's anything looking better in that regard. Mara at 618 right now, doing pretty good. GTHX. I like the fact that this is shortable also, but I like the fact that this is holding strong near the highs. It's not to assume this is going to drop, but the way this is moving. But, the order book is a bit more filled in, bit of a spread here and there, but I'll give this a look. GTHX. Don't know what the news is. I'm just going to keep going down our gainers list for right now. Oh, also, I have to keep this in mind, folks. I brought this up not very frequently during this afternoon broadcast, but I brought this up at least twice before. And for all of us in social media, if you watch this regularly, perhaps you remember. And for all of us inside the room, perhaps you took note too. But, MicroStrategy back in like October, I think it was, we ended up seeing them come out with news. I don't know the statistic, the amount, but they ended up putting a large amount of their cash into Bitcoin. Well, look where they are now, like about a month and a half later, right? And from basically at the time, it was like 200. Now they're at 350 almost, breaking all-time highs. So, just watch this as Bitcoin moves, but, not a day trade stock at least. NM, not much going on there. IGC, this one actually, I should say I'm also still in this trade. I forgot that I was because this thing's just been flat. I didn't get stopped out with that in mind. I have a stop set at like 234 in case if it breaks below 235 here. It's been flat. I've been in from 238. And for right now, this is also a pot stock that's moving up with the sector a bit. So we ended up seeing them drop off as soon as the market opened with ACP and Tilray, but made that same type of squeeze up. So Tilray dropping off for right now. ACB dropping off right now. I'm up on Mara. I might just dip out on IGC right here. Just take like a 2-cent lose or 2-cent loss. Scale out half my shares right here at least. All right, I think Mara pulled back, stopped me out on part of my position. I got out at 608. So Mara just pulled back a little bit, but I took some profit. I'm happy with it. All right, let's see what else we have here in the meantime as we go down the gainers list. New IPO QS, pretty expensive at this point, moving up new IPO. Order book very spread out and thin. Moderna, it's not really a day trade stock anymore. Yeah. YCBD, this could be interesting. Let's see how the chart looks. It's at the highs. Just pulled back a bit. It's not really moving with pot perfectly. YCBD, CBDMD is the company. Fairly well known. They're doing a lot of different stuff with more popular companies out there, like sports organizations and so forth, and athletes. I was always interested in the stock for about 6, 7, 8 months at this point. I'm not in on this as a swing. Maybe I wish I could say I was at this point from where I started watching it, but pretty interesting seeing them move up going back into late June, early July, and here they are now. So, you know what? Right now, I don't mind just putting this on our main watch list. It's trading about like 15, 20,000 shares per minute, which is a lot. All right, let's see. Kind of take my time here. What else do we have here? WWR and COCP, a couple familiar names. ALT as well. WWR looks kind of interesting. Jump back to that one a bit later on. I guess my scanner's refreshed there. Lovely. COCP. Pop and drop, at least at this point. Oh, VBIV, maybe a couple more here that we're familiar with. VBIV popped earlier, just not much going on now. And then ALT, it still kind of seems to be holding there a bit, trading about 4 or 5,000 shares per minute. Just lack of trend for right now. If we see more life on this trade by the end of this meeting, maybe I'll reconsider. All right, let's hop over to the losers list here at this point. And Nikola, no surprise from where we watched this in pre-market dive off, but man, Nikola got killed, right? So I will go back on Benzinga Pro really fast just to follow up on that. And I do see a question just regarding the pot stock. So I will go back on those as well. But just give me a quick second. I'll copy and paste Nikola news here first. It's kind of a paragraph or so, but oh, whoops. I mean that. There we go. There we go. So everybody should see that there, and then I'll copy and paste for all of us inside the trading room. So Nikola and GM will work together to integrate GM's Hydrotech fuel cell technology into Nikola's Class 7, Class 8. See, that was news, though, at least from like 8:01 Eastern time, right? So that looks to be the most prominent news, but then I'm actually going to do a follow-up to that right now for all of us in social media. There we go. Nikola shares trading lower after the company signed an MOU with GM that does not include the previously contemplated GM equity stake in Nikola or the development of the Nikola Badger. So that's the follow-up as to why they dropped off. You thought the first news post there that I showed that's good news, but the follow-up there led to the drop-off. And at this point, Nikola's at the lows of the day or still kind of near the lows heading into the afternoon. So I'd be really interested in seeing if we could see 20 get tested at 20 major support. So Nikola definitely going to put on our main list here at this point. What is this? APPN got smoked. Oof. Getting smoked currently. Big spread, very expensive, same thing. But nice drop off. I don't know what happened here, but we'll keep going down the losers list right now. Oh, KNDI is down big too. Wow. All right, so KNDI, at least I'll look up right now, KNDI, and then I'll jump back to this one more time for, like I said, the pot stocks. But hearing Hindenburg out with a negative report on KNDI, they used fake sales and EV hype to nab $160 million from investors. That's actually the title right there. Like the newsman today. But that's what led to a big drop on KNDI. This is one that we're very familiar with, at least across the last 2 weeks and really across the last really 3-4 months. But this thing's been like through the spin cycle up and then popped up even higher and then tanked and then obviously back from Friday and then more so today it dropped off. But hard to borrow. We can't really look to short this stock. I mean, those of us on TradeStation, maybe if you're on a different broker platform, you can. So I'll respect that at least just because we can't short this should this break lower. Doesn't mean I won't put this on our list. So KNDI will follow up with. And hey, if it doesn't break lower, if this makes a false breakdown below 10 perhaps, then perhaps we'll see this make the dead cat bounce and move up. So definitely just given the volatility, I'll put this on our main watch list here. All right, so let's see. I think that might just about do it. I'll be honest. I'm like pretty content with this main list already. If there's anything else that looks good, let me know, and I'll just skim down the losers end here. But Tor shortable made a big drop from earlier today. Percent gainer from Friday. Percent loser today. CAAS trying 9 right now, and the Mara trade's moving back up. So I took part profits on that. I'm still in on a part position there. Yeah, CAAS is already on our list, no? Yeah. We talked about Bitcoin first, and we jumped over to CAAS number 1, still. But yeah, pushing up to 9 right now. Good call. From Cliff inside our trading room, Sol, SOL, moving back up to the high of the day pretty much. Earnings are tomorrow, he says. I'll write that down. Good call. SOL. Cliff, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. I didn't have them on my whiteboard for this week, so definitely let us know. Pretty interesting move here at this point. I'll consider. Oh, he doesn't know. All right. Well, I'll look at it after. But Greg's calling out inside our trading room here, and then I'll jump to YouTube after. But Mogo, MOGO at 268. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. All right, well, right back to the news machine, right back to Benzinga Pro. Man, geez, I should just devote a whole monitor to this at this point. So Mogo, there's no news listed yet on this run up, but great call from Greg here inside our trading room. Yeah, I mean, Mogo at this point definitely going to put near the top of our watch list. Tight spread, liquid order book, exactly what you would want to have to begin with. And then obviously it's cheap, moving up very steadily. All right, so I had one of us on YouTube ask about this. Just what was the reason for the pot stocks going back up on Friday? So I will copy and paste that here. I mean, it's pretty much what I verbally said before, but it's just that the House is considering a vote regarding the federal ban. That's like all the pot stocks. All right, from Leda, she's saying Sama is still going. I haven't seen that one. Sama. Oof! Wow, the hell happened here too? SAMA ended up like exploding from like 1080-ish, you can call it, but more so off 11. It's already at 1216. This is like another acquisition company. We've seen so many of these out recently. I don't know if this is another company with like EV affiliations or what. SAMA. This might be all-time highs. Oh no, Sama's a pot stock. Looks like it. Looks like there's a report how Clever Leaves is disrupting the cannabis market on a global scale. Huh, the more you know. I didn't know that. All right, so Sama, pretty interesting move here. The hell's going on though? Is this all-time highs or what? Yeah, it looks like what's this? Looks all but all-time highs. I mean, just about. We'll talk more about that just at the end of this meeting. But yeah, great call from Leda. It looks like she killed it on that trade earlier. Picked up like 80 cents just about. All right, then Norman picking up some good money right now on Riot. Again, that one's still pushing up. Riot and Mara will be our focus heading into the afternoon, alongside that Mogo trade, and I should say at this point, Sama. We have a really good list here heading into the afternoon. All right, so we started off very nicely. Looks like we're going to close out very nicely here. All right, perfect. All right, folks, for all of us in social media for right now, just make sure that you folks like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel. As always, we like to say that youtube.com/cybertradingu, especially to notify yourself just to know when we're going live, when we're not. You'll get the notification, at least on your end. And then otherwise, feel more than free to join us live weekdays, Monday to Friday, right from the banner there inside the Cyber Group room. Go right to the link down below just to sign up, and we look forward to seeing you. All right, for all of us inside the trading room here, I'm going to copy and paste the picks, and then just refill up the water bottle, jump right back on the mic here very shortly. All right, take care.